So what muzzle devices can you put on your California compliant featureless rifle? Let's talk about this. So I recently put out a video talking about California compliant forward grips, and if you're interested in looking at that video, or if you have any questions about that, you can click this tab right here and it'll take you to that video. But in that video, I got asked a lot of questions about, well, what about muzzle devices? Can you talk about muzzle devices on various featureless rifles? I do want to mention, although I am a licensed and practicing attorney in the state of California, I am not your attorney. This video is just some things that I consider, and when I look at the language here in the state of California, what I consider are appropriate muzzle devices to put on my rifles and which ones are not appropriate to put on my rifles. So real quick, before we jump into this video, I want to thank one of the main supporters of this channel, and that is USCCA. USCCA provides legal protection / carry insurance for law-abiding citizens like me and you. So if you're considering picking up some sort of carry insurance, I always recommend USCCA, and I'll go ahead and put a link down in the comment section as well as in the details to USCCA. So first, let's do all the legal mumbo jumbo background and all the penal codes that cover assault weapons here in the state of California, so we can understand why you can put specific muzzle devices on your rifles and why you cannot put other certain muzzle devices on your rifles. So here in the state of California, we have a ban on what California defines as assault weapons. And essentially under Penal Code 3605, it makes the possession of an assault weapon an offense, and it's an offense that it can be charged with a felony or a misdemeanor. And so when you're looking at what exactly does California define as an assault weapon, you have to look at California Penal Code 30515. And when you're trying to configure a California compliant featureless rifle so that you can circumvent the assault weapons language, you can find that language in California Penal Code 30515A1. And so A1 is just the general definitions of what features can be put on a specific rifle, being a semi-automatic centerfire rifle without a fixed magazine. If specific features are put on a rifle of that type, it then becomes an assault weapon, and your possession of it is banned under California law, except for if you had an assault weapon prior to the registration date, and if you registered the rifle with the California Department of Justice, it doesn't fall under this language, but that's a whole different discussion. But right now what we're talking about are people who are configuring their rifles in specific ways currently. So under this language, under that A1 language of 30515, it essentially says that you cannot have a semi-automatic centerfire rifle without a fixed magazine, meaning you have a detachable magazine on it, and if it has any of these offending features, being a collapsible or telescoping stock, a pistol grip, a forward pistol grip, or what we're talking about in this video, which is a flash suppressor. So the definition of what a flash suppressor is in the state of California can be found in California Penal Code 5471 subsection R. So what this section says is a flash suppressor means any device attached to the end of a barrel that is designed, intended, or functions to precipitately reduce or redirect muzzle flash from the shooter's field of vision. A hybrid device that has either advertised flash suppressing properties or functionally has flash suppressing properties would be deemed a flash suppressor. A device labeled or identified by its manufacturer as a flash hider would be deemed a flash suppressor. So that's all the legal mumbo jumbo, and you're probably annoyed at this point and you're just saying, just tell me what muzzle devices I can have on my California compliant featureless builds. So first, let's just say the ones that you can. You can have muzzle brakes or compensators on your California compliant featureless builds. These muzzle brakes or compensators do not fall under the language of what a flash suppressor is here in the state of California, because they do not hide the flash or redirect the flash out of the shooter's field of view. Also, standalone muzzle brakes and compensators are not advertised as being flash suppressors or that they redirect flash. And in fact, a lot of the time you have a lot more flash and you get big fireballs, stuff like that, out of your muzzle devices like this. So the muzzle devices that you want to put on your California compliant builds are going to be standalone compensators or muzzle brakes. Now, why am I saying standalone muzzle brakes or compensators? This is because there are some products out there that are a muzzle brake, compensator, / flash hider. And this is where I get a lot of questions from people who ask, well, can I put one of these devices on my California compliant builds? Can I put a muzzle brake / flash hider or one of these combination muzzle devices on the rifle? And my answer to that is no. If you look at the language here that we just discussed, those would fall under a hybrid device. A hybrid device that has either been advertised as a flash suppressing property or functionally has flash suppressing properties is a no-go. So those hybrid devices that you may think, well, just because it says compensator in it, I should be good to go. That is not correct. Those you should completely avoid, because what happens is if you put those type of devices on a build like this, all of a sudden the language here in the state of California magically makes that rifle with that type of muzzle device an assault weapon. And lastly, the absolute no-go, and which should be obvious, are just your typical flash hiders or just standalone flash hiders or flash suppressors that you would buy on any gun website. Those are a no-go. You cannot put them on California featureless builds, specifically because, of course, they would fall under that definition of being a flash suppressor. If something like a flash suppressor is something you have to absolutely have on your rifle, the only way that you can actually do that is if you had a fixed magazine build instead of a detachable magazine build. And I can go over comprehensively fixed magazine builds if you guys would like in another video. And if you would like something like that, go ahead and drop a comment down below and I will make a video on that. This video specifically was made because I got a lot of requests in my last video, people wanting me to talk about flash suppressors or flash hiders or things like that. So one of the things I want to mention real quick before I end this video is that I'm actually going to be taking all the money that I'm currently making from the YouTube channel, from the Patreon, and putting it towards a California compliant product that I think would really benefit you guys. And it's just a way of me showing thanks to a lot of you, for everybody who's been supporting the channel, everybody who's watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, all of you additional people who have joined the Patreon, which I can't thank you enough. This is just my small way of trying to show gratitude towards you guys and actually put a solution out there on the market that will just really benefit you guys. So if you would like to support the channel or just support my efforts in putting out this product, one of the ways you can do that is joining the Patreon, but of course you don't have to. I'm going to be doing this regardless. So as always, thanks you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And never forget, this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.